Welcome to the Two Beasts podcast, where best friends Chris and Ollie try and figure out this complicated thing we call life. We hope you enjoy. Bang, no warning.
Straight in.
No warning.
Straight in.
Maximum straight in nature today. Maximum straight in nature. Oh, fuck. Well, it's a bit early. I haven't even had time to organise my thoughts yet. What's this? Is this weakness?
That's yours, mate.
Oh.
Why do I look so close? I look like I'm too far to the right of the frame.
Oh. I think you're right. We'll move that over. I think it's because you were sat like a fucking...
There we go. That's better.
I have to find a way to blame you. Couldn't possibly allow it to be my fault.
Standard scenes.
In this new year.
Standard scenes.
The idea that I could be at fault for anything is just, frankly, quite hurtful. He's just turning that on because it wasn't on.
It wasn't on, boys and girls.
You couldn't see the little Elmish red colour.
Sort myself out. Okay, we're...
Oh, fuck. I've just spilled coffee over the table.
Oh, why?
I can't wait to
Why could we never just do a podcast intro where stuff just doesn't fall apart?
I can't wait to see my reaction in that camera to when I kicked that there. There was a proper slow-mo replay needed. I'll just wipe that off.
Oh, yeah, nice one.
To the floor. That'll be all right. Yeah, that'll be all right. Oh, well, welcome to 2024. By the time this podcast is out, that's what it'll be. Currently the 29th of December, but...
Welcome to 2024.
What's wrong with being a couple of days early, mate?
Couple of days. A few days.
Couple of days.
When's the first? Monday. What's this? Friday. Oh yeah, not too long.
Yeah. Well,
not too long to go, everyone.
The difference between a couple and a few is quite...
is one day, my friend.
Yeah, so it matters not.
You should have said a few.
In the grand scheme of things. Yeah, but I wanted to add a little bit of embellishment to make it more exciting.
Interesting. Interesting.
So yeah, we haven't actually had a start on any of our goals yet. Mate, I'll tell you one thing that's happening at the minute though. There's a lot of fucking weapons back about, sniffing them, coming out of the cracks. A lot of weapons on the TOC. The return of the TOC weapons is real.
Oh, the return of the old account.
Some fucking knobheads out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Imagine like you're so devoid, your life's so devoid of meaning that you just leave bad comments on other people's stuff on TikTok, but you're not even good at that.
Nah.
Like,
I mean, we've said it before, like, in terms of successful people, they don't leave comments.
One literally had a dog as their profile picture, which is always a red flag.
Yeah. When you haven't got yourself as your profile picture, it tends to say quite a lot of things, doesn't it, really? So
yeah. So that dog's a dickhead. That dog needs to get put down. What are you actually doing for New Year's?
Nothing currently.
Doing nothing?
I ain't got anything planned.
We're just going to sit here like a loser.
I don't really care about New Year's, to be honest. I'm not one of those people that's like, woo, let's see in the new year, man. Oh, I'm so cool. It's like, I don't really care, if I'm being totally honest. I don't drink. I don't there's nothing to really be all that excited for, really. It's just another day, innit?
Oh, well, I'm glad that you bring optimism and insight to everything you do.
Oh, you're most welcome, mate. You are most welcome.
Can't be happy, people.
Well, fair play. Like, if people want to do it, that's totally fine. It's just not something that I am that excited about. I never have been, really, to be honest.
Who said you had to drink?
Well, nobody, but it's all part of it, innit? Everyone goes out drinking. They all have, like, fucking God knows how many bottles of whatever and get all bevied up and get all excited that the new year's coming in and it's like, that's great for about 20 minutes, and then it's like, oh, right, fucking go to bed then, shall we?
I suppose so. I feel like you've imagined a scenario that you hate, and then you've put that on New Year's so that you don't have to worry about New Year's.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rather, you've crafted a story in which it's shit.
Literally, yeah. So then I can just be like, well, it's just another day, innit? Do you know what I mean? I'll just carry on with my life.
Yeah, well, fair dues, I suppose. Fucking whatever gets you through. Well, I'm going to dress up as a butler.
Oh, so I've been told.
Yeah, I'm going to be a butler.
Yeah.
I'm going to serve drinks and that. And potentially do a murder, but we'll see.
What is it, like a murder mystery type game thing?
1920s murder mystery. I'll go out with a character. I've got a script now. I think you just read it from script. But,
are you going to be Colonel Custard in a fucking... Oh, no, it's Colonel Mustard, not Colonel Custard.
Let me see if I can remember this. I did this thing the other day.
Colonel Custard would have sounded way better.
I did this thing the other day. Sir... Right, so it's sir or lady, right? This is how you make up your oldie worldy name, your bourgeoisie name,
Right.
something like that. You take sir or lady first of all. I'm afraid there is no middle option. It is one of the two.
It's one or the other.
It's just how the game works. It's not. I didn't make the rules. So sir or lady, your middle name with the last beverage that you consumed with a ton on the end. If that makes sense. You with me so far?
What if you got 2 middle names?
Yeah, first name. I asked this question because I had 2 middle names.
Okay, fine.
So it's your first middle name.
Okay.
And then the street that you live on with a of the street that you live on with a shire at the end. So, sir or lady, your first middle name,
Yeah.
the last drink that you consumed with a ton on the end, of your street name with shire added at the end of it, and that's your, Downtown Abbey name.
So I would be Sir James
Strong.
Coffeeton
Yeah.
of River Courtshire
Just Rivershire.
or Rivershire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. We've just doxed ourselves on the internet. Everyone knows.
Whatever you can make out of that.
Yeah, Rivershire. Yeah. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done my fucking matter. By the time anyone's interested in doxing us, we'll be fucking moved on anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Ha! Fuck you. You tried to find us, but we're not here.
Go on then.
Mine was Sir Malcolm. When I did it the other day, obviously. Well, I haven't actually.
Oh, Malcolm is a solid,
solid
first name.
Sir Malcolm Waterton of Rivershire.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good.
That's pretty good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waterton sounds better than Coffeeton.
It does. Yeah. I was glad that I'd had water.
Yeah.
Rather than because I played those two. Those are the 2 drinks that I've got.
I mean, I could also be. Well, I mean, ours would basically be the same other than the first name.
Yeah.
Because I technically haven't finished my coffee. So
So basically, I just needed to remember mine and then say just put
Malcolm.
whatever your middle name is.
Yeah.
What's your second middle name?
Andrew.
Is that dad's on both sides?
It is my dad's name, the second one, and then the first one, I believe, is my great-granddad's name.
Do you ever see a world in which you use it as your primary name?
No.
Not interested.
No.
You hate them, don't you? Hate those shit names.
Not at all.
Just kidding.
I like having 2 middle names. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, I've got 2, but
It's different, isn't it? There's not many people with 2 middle names, I don't think. Or is there?
well, there's 2 for 2 in this front
No,
room.
I mean, there's 2 for 2 in this front room, but other than that...
If you take a sample size of this house, it's 100% of people.
Right. Well, we're not going to take a sample size of this house,
No,
are
it's
we?
bad science.
That is terrible.
Horrible science.
That is terrible, terrible science.
That,
Bill
sir,
Nye would be upset with
might
you.
I say that is the worstest science what I've ever seen done on a podcast.
Bill Nye would not be happy with you.
We've said some risky things on this podcast, but saying that everyone in the world has 2 middle names is by far the most disputable fact that we have spit on this podcast.
I don't know what we're going to do.
Oh, the TikTokers going to be furious.
Shit.
They are going to be fuming.
Yeah, well. They can enjoy it. Can enjoy being fuming at nothing.
Oh,
for
dear.
no reason.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, you Todgers. We did a whole fucking episode on goals last week, didn't we? We talked about like what we were going to get rid of, what we were going to keep saying, whatever, going into the new year. I don't think we ever talked about what is the actual parameters in which we set the goals. How do we actually set them? Like, how are you actually, what is your mind process when you're coming up with a goal? Is it interest? Is it like what is your motivator?
I think it depends on what the subject is first. So
All right.
it depends on whether it's like something mental related or like a life thing.
Right.
Like a habit or something like that, or whether it's like a physical, sport-related goal.
Okay.
So for me, the habit side of things is just something that I want to improve about myself.
Yeah.
Why
Why do you want to improve it? Why bother? It's easier to just be the same, innit? Why go through all that fucking hassle?
It's a good question. Why not just be the same?
Why not?
Well, I guess that's the easy route.
Yeah.
Is just to be the same, isn't it?
Yeah, why not take it?
Throughout the whole way.
It's easy.
Don't like easy things.
Is that why though?
It's a difficult one. I've never really thought about it. I guess it's kind of...
Because sometimes we
Why
just
do I want to be better?
we just battle on. We're like, what are we actually battling for? What's the actual fucking point? Why are we doing it? I think I know the answer, but I want this to be an even podcast, but we need to do some talking.
I guess for me, it's kind of like putting myself in a position where everyone else around me is going to benefit from those improvements. Because it's all very well and good benefiting me.
Yeah.
But
what's the point?
What's the point?
You're gonna be dead in like 60 years,
yeah.
if you're lucky. And
sort of, what's the point? So then, how can I improve myself to then be better at my job, better at being a son, better at being a brother, better at being a boyfriend, better at being whatever it is, you know.
Which one's the most important of those that you just listed to you? I realise it's going to change periodically based on what you do, but what is the most important role that you, of all the roles you play right now, what's the most important one?
Uncle, probably.
Uncle, yeah.
I think it's probably the most important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like of all the things that will come first. How do you become a good uncle? Just slip him sweeties on the side.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, sis. I've fed him a load of jelly beans. Now he's really hyper. You can have him back.
Have some starbursts.
Yeah. No, I think it's kind of... I guess it's no different in some regard to being a good parent in many ways. And I think what's really nice is it gives you, before you become a parent, if you become an uncle first or an auntie first, before you become a parent, it gives you that sort of viewpoint into what it's going to be like to have a kid and raise a kid. Yeah. And I think to also be a positive male role model or a positive female role model, depending on which side you take, depending on whether you're a male, auntie or uncle, I think is really important to give to that kid, especially in today's day and age where there's so many things going on in the world and so many possible angles that you could take or they could take, and I think it's really important to be that role model for them to see and to pass on said wisdom that you have learned to them. Whether they use it or not is up to them. But
if you play the game right as well and you play the sufficiently rebellious uncle, then you're actually at an advantage later on. I'm just going to fucking check this camera because it's fucking buzzing like a motherfucker. It's 100% not in focus, is it? You cunt. Yeah, because there is that period of time, like this scientific fact now. You ready for some science?
Go on.
For some
Drop it like it's hot, man.
Some serious Chris science.
Yeah, go on.
There is a point when you hit teenage years where you are like neurologically inclined to disregard your parents. Mm-hmm. It's like a thing that we developed to get us out of the parents' household and out into the world.
Yeah.
So suddenly, even if your parents made sense, like 5 years ago, now like everything they say is wrong, even if it's absolutely fucking spot on.
That makes sense.
Because you just need to go out. Even if someone else outside of your family circle says the same thing, you'll listen. But it's just like an evolutionary thing to get us out of to fly from the nest, so to speak. Because I suppose back in the day we weren't fucking pissing about till we were like 30 to leave home, because the housing market was different in caveman times. So we had to do it at like
caveman times.
Yeah. So we had to do it at like 12 and 13 back then, didn't we? Have to go out sort of hunting bears and things like that.
Yeah.
So it kind of encouraged us. We had this thing inbuilt in us, like over evolution, to get out into the world, get out on road.
I'm sure the TikTokers have got something to say about that scientific fact.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, mate. You know what? Do you know what I say to those TikTokers? I say, fuck you. This is science, indisputable science. I don't care. I don't care about your PhD. Put it away. You shouldn't get your PhD out on the internet. That's what I heard.
No.
Just indecent.
Yeah.
So anyway, what my point is you play, like the uncle role is obviously not as important as a parent role. It is a good insight, like you said, but also when it comes to like 13, 14, that kid's probably going to be a little shitbag from his parents and run away, or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you've played it right, he might come to you as like a rebellious act. And if you can play the game tactically, like the political game, and be like, yeah, you know what? Your parents are stupid. Let's do this thing that's actually the right thing, which is exactly what your parents would have said to do. You'd be like,
yeah.
Skirt
it around. Yeah,
stupid kids.
Get to the point where they want to be, but they take them round the
Just take them around the road route.
Take them round the side route.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'd be an alright uncle, but I ain't got no brothers or sisters, so I'm going to be one.
Not yet.
Never mind.
You'll have to jump straight to the old parent situation.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Christ. Well, no one wants that at the minute, do they?
No.
That'll be an absolute disaster.
What about you? Obviously, it's not going to take an uncle role, but is there anything that you're doing? You said you had an answer for the whole.
Yeah, I really want to be an uncle. So basically, I've just decided that there's no point because I can't be one. So I'm just going to give up.
All right, fair. You're just going to stay the same. Yeah, that's fair play, mate.
It's my big revelation.
That's fair, mate. I suppose.
My big revelation. Yeah, I forgot what the initial question was. Like, what was the motivation behind goals? Yeah, why do we bother in the first place? And I think we've touched on this before, probably, but realistically, is it actually a choice? Do you actually have a choice but to improve yourself? Because why would you not, I guess is a better answer. Why would you not want to be better? And the answer is obviously because it's fucking hard. It's annoying and it hurts because you have to constantly accept that there's things about you that aren't good enough. And you have to hear that voice in your head all the time saying that you've done this wrong and that wrong. And you've got to manage that negative self-talk all the time. It's an absolute, honestly, a pain in the todger. But realistically, what's the alternative? It's fucking coming for you either way, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's coming for you either way.
Yeah, there is, you can't, I mean, I guess you can run from it forever, but then...
No, you can't. How?
Well, you just keep putting it off, right?
Until what happens? You end up, now suddenly you're really poor and you don't know why. You're really unhealthy, you don't know why.
That's what I was about to come to. I was like, you keep putting it off until something bad happens due to not improving yourself. Yeah. That's the thing.
And then you're completely in the shit. So
and then in some regard, you have to start from, well, you're not even starting from zero at that point, are you? You're starting from below zero, which is then even harder to self-improve, right? So,
Well, it's harder, but it's also the same. It's the same deal. It's just like you start wherever you're at, don't you?
Yeah.
So like if you're really in the shit, then you're not gonna, you're not gonna come out of the mother's womb and just go fucking skydiving straight away. You're gonna shit your pants. But you might go on a few roller coasters first. You might go on the waltzers, then a few roller coasters, and then you have that adrenaline built in you. You know that you're used to that level of adrenaline where you might consider the next step. It's kind of the same thing with this, isn't it? So you know, if your life is an absolute fucking shambles, then you're not gonna expect everything to be all prim and tidy with a proper bow on it by tomorrow.
No.
It's just maybe remember to brush your fucking teeth in the mornings for a start. Because there have been times in my life where I haven't done that. Yeah. When I was a teenager and stuff, I'd go 3-4 fucking days, on school holidays or whatever. Do you know what I mean? When the routine was gone, I'd be an absolute shambles. I hadn't developed that routine element of me yet. I was a complete fucking mess. And then I was wondering why I was sad. It's like, mate, fucking not brushing your teeth and puberty, you got no chance, son.
It's two big deals, isn't it?
Hey.
But routine is a big one. Like if you are in that spot where you're like, fucking how do I even start? Just get a good routine. Just get a good routine going,
and it doesn't even have to be a complete routine. None of this has to be complete. It's
No.
just one thing that you do every day.
Yeah.
And just fucking do it.
Yeah.
And then the first time that you actually struggle with it is where actually you're going to get all the benefits from it. Like the first time that you are, it's got to midnight and you still haven't done it, or whatever that thing is, and you're so tired and you can't be fucked. But you get it done anyway, and you start building that. You just put a brick in the wall of, I do stuff, man.
Yeah.
Regardless of how I feel. And then once you can build up a big wall like that, mate, what can you not do?
I mean, that was why I went for a run last night. So I was just I felt like, the gym session wasn't the greatest. Hadn't really done much all day, so I was like, right, I need something. I need to claw something back to own the day, and that run, that 5 miler was exactly what did it.
I think we talked about that before, didn't we? We were like, you have a shit day, you're like, how can I salvage this?
Yeah, just something. Just get something, man, you know? Like, it doesn't have to be anything big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What happened yesterday?
What, the gym?
The whole day. The gym was one part, but that wasn't the most exciting part about your day yesterday. I took you to get an MOT yesterday, didn't I?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, it's failed. It's failed, and it's got a few things that need doing. But it's a funny thing. Like I was saying this to my girlfriend last night. What's weird about an MOT, right?
Yeah.
The things, and I'm sure the TikTokers have something to say to this. I'm probably in the wrong, but from my perspective, the thing with an MOT, and I'm sure around the world there's different variations of what this is, but in the UK we have an MOT. As far as I can tell, the things that they check in an MOT have got nothing to do with the car actually being able to drive.
Really?
Yeah. Because if you actually look down the list of things, it's stuff to do with like exhaust emissions, like balancing, whether your tyres are all right, all of this stuff.
Is it all wokeness?
Well, it's to the point where you're kind of like before I took my car in for the MOT, I'm like, well, it drives fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Do you know what I mean?
How do you know what I mean? Go about operating like that?
No, so I'm not saying that it's perfect, but like, for example, like my van, I did obviously a load of that stuff to the engine, but none of that I did to the engine or the clutch or anything like that comes up in the MOT as far as I'm aware.
The clutch doesn't?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think it does actually, because my car wouldn't have gone.
So therefore you're like, well, all of that stuff could have been wrong, but they'd have been like, yeah mate, totally fine to pass an MOT, but you're like, doesn't even fucking drive. So
I think it's just like motoring basics. It's the stuff that wears down the quickest. I mean, look.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
But brakes are pretty fucking important. Didn't you say brakes in the list of things that don't actually run the car?
No, because it's not even to do. They don't even like really check your brakes. They just check like whether they're like
the pads.
Yeah,
the pads.
Yeah,
but that's just important.
But it's got levels, isn't it? Because they sit there and they go, oh well, this is like what is failed on because this is bad. But then you've got advisories. And they could list like 20 advisories, be like, well, I don't really need to get them done, do I? That's why they're in the advisory list. It's like when you pass your driving test and they go, now you've passed, but your minors were this, this, and this. You're like, shut up, I passed. I don't give a shit.
How many advisories did you have on this one?
Not that many. I think it was only like 2 or 3, I think. Okay. It wasn't actually that many.
Well, when you bought the car, because you bought the car this year.
Yeah.
Did you look at the MOT certificate?
Yeah.
And did you look at how many advisories there were on that one?
Yeah.
And how many advisories were there?
Probably still 2 or 3, I think.
And were they the things that subsequently went wrong in this MOT?
So there was... That's a weird noise.
No, it's you put your hand in front of your face, it focuses on your hand.
Oh. Yeah, so I think it was... I don't fully remember. The only thing I do know that I was like, okay, it will probably fail on this is the exhaust. It's because I knew the exhaust was blowing.
Yeah. How much does an exhaust cost to fix?
A couple £100.
Okay.
It's not too bad. Like, it was fun, because when she was listing the things through last night, when I was going through it, I was like, it sounds like a lot, but when you actually break down what the issues are, I don't think they're that bad in the grand scheme of things. They're things that can be fixed fairly quickly. I'm saying this right now. It could come back to bite me in the ass, like a lot of things have motoring related this year. But
what I'm interested in finding out is, I want this to be your last year of shit motoring. So I'm trying to figure out what the fuck you're doing wrong, because every fucking car you've had has been an absolute disaster.
That's not true.
Really?
That's not true.
Which one? Which one was it?
Just these 2. Other than that, everything else has gone for an MOT and passed totally fine.
Really?
Yep.
I suppose I may be skewed by the fact that
you're skewed by the fact that this year I've had 2 cars which have been not well. The van in particular.
The van was a disaster.
The car I had, the Civic I had before that was like a needle in a haystack. Nothing went wrong with that thing. Passed the MOT totally fine. Yeah. What did I have before that? I had a Citroen Berlingo before that. Passed its MOT every time. I had a Clio before that, passed its MOT. Basically, I've had barely any issues with MOTs in the past. Or anything going wrong.
The thing I'm thinking of is with your Berlinga, that was the van, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You had a back window smashed on that.
That wasn't, yeah.
So that's not a purchasing fault. No. That's just bad luck.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's been other things like that too. Or maybe it's just like maybe your first couple cars don't count because they're just quirky cars anyway, and they for everyone.
But up until this point, I mean,
You never took the old Civic into the garage for anything.
No. Only like wear and tear stuff, brakes, tyres. Other than that, the only thing mechanically I had to change on that car, and bearing in mind I put 40,000 miles on that car in like 2 years, was literally there's like a belt that drives the engine, or part of the engine. Yeah. There was a bearing on that went, and that was it. That's all I had to do.
Fair enough. Well,
you get lucky. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Yeah. In the old world of car
you are just in a
I'm in a shit bit of luck at the moment, for sure, yeah.
Okay, well, fair enough then.
Which is great, because touch wood, it's been the only part of my life I've had bad luck, really. Everything else has been going quite well, which is nice. So I guess life has to kick you in the bollocks at some point.
Yeah, well, it's fucking certainly kicked you this year, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. But hopefully the plan moving forward should be that, I don't know, basically the plan is to not end up in this situation again.
I suppose also the more you play the game, the more risk you have. Like you've got 3 vehicles right now.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that fucking one of them's going to go wrong. Like
Correct,
3 for 3. Yeah. Having one good vehicle is one thing.
Yeah.
Having 3 good vehicles is a whole.
That's a whole other ball game, for sure.
So there's a van. There's a van for sale, ladies and gentlemen. If you want a van for sale, it has had literally fucking everything that could possibly go wrong with it done.
Basically, right now the thing is, right, I was basically that shit person in the ownership of that van. Yeah. In terms of like in every ownership of a car, there's like a few people that get all the shit bits that have to be done. I was that person on that van. I feel like now, if you took that van, you would be like, oh, it's fucking hunky dory. You know,
you lost the game of hot potato.
I did indeed. Yeah,
that's sad to see.
Yeah. It's like the worst version of pass the parcel basically. In that normally when you pass the parcel and you get to the end and you win, this one you don't win.
Yeah, the music stopped and you opened a turd.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh shit me. Well, no one wants to open a turd.
No.
Right, fucking. There's 3 minutes left of this half, so I'm scrambling for like what we should do. And I think probably the answer is just take a fucking break.
Take a little break, everyone.
There you go.
What's up, winners? If you're loving this podcast, make sure to drop us a 5-star review on Spotify. And if you aren't already, be sure to follow us on our social media channels. That's YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. 2 Beast Podcast, the number 2 Beast Podcast. Let's get back to the show.
I hope you enjoyed that reminder to follow the podcast. Now back to the actual pod itself, the reason that you're following. Right, I've got a list here. I'm looking at my phone today. Normally I haven't fucking bothered with this for like the last 10 episodes. I want to right, guests this year. Now we've done the whole dream list thing.
Yeah.
We've got like, dreamy people. Who actually that's not a fucking A-list celebrity that's going to have no interest in coming on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like who's actually someone that we could actually get on?
I was thinking about this the other day.
That we actually want to get on.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, who can we actually get on?
Because if we say it now, we can tag him in it and fucking, we'll be chilling. Because they'll be like, oh, cool, man. We'll be our way in.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro, I can't wait.
I want to come and sit on the sofa of dreams and talk shit.
Yeah. Or we go there.
Whichever way it works. I mean, we have had guests that we've had on before that want to come back on.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, we could do that.
Can have a round 2.
Potentially do that. I was kind of like, initially I was thinking, because our whole mission with this was do 100 episodes, see what happens.
Yeah.
Realistically, obviously it's going to be an absolutely fucking phenomenal success, and we just know that for sure. So we're going to carry on after 100 episodes.
We need to manifest that. Manifest the success.
I guess it's not guaranteed. I mean, I guess that's a different question. Anyway, I'll come back to that. Remind me to come back to that thing that I'm going to forget about. For sure.
Okay, roger that.
But yeah, so then there'll be the journey to 200 episodes. After the journey from 100 will come the journey to 200. And so that we were thinking because when I upload these episodes to Spotify for podcasters, so easy to start a podcast, by the way. Like if you have the camera gear, I mean, even if you don't, just iPhone it, it'll be all right.
Yeah, you can just because if you don't even necessarily need to do what we do, which is do like a video podcast.
Yeah,
you can just do an audio podcast, which would literally just be sat here talking to your phone, effectively.
Yeah. And I think on those you can actually do it in the Spotify for Podcasters thing itself. You can actually say like create episode.
Yeah.
And presumably you just link 2 mics. Maybe you could just even link your own phones and just fucking
smash it straight in. Yeah. It's like the easiest thing you can. It's probably easier to start a podcast than it is to start like a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You know, because you need way less equipment.
And the thing is, we are a little bit late to the game. Like a lot of the stuff has matured now. I think this isn't the early adopter stage anymore, which is classic Chris. I'm always a fucking
we're always late to it.
Mature adopter type of thing. I like to wait until something's established before I fucking waste my time on it. The problem with that is that by the time it's mature, the actual golden opportunity is gone. But it's like, what are you gonna do? Predict time?
Well, that, and I don't actually think that the golden age of podcasting has fully started yet.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think we're just on the cusp of it starting.
Yeah, I guess it's just like, it's going to be hard whatever you do, so it's just like a matter of time. I mean, to be fair, things are, going pretty well for the effort we've put in. We've been going for a couple of weeks now, but our effort has substantially teetered off. And it's still growing nicely.
Yeah.
Like we've been in bare minimum territory with this podcast for a little while,
and we've still hit over 150 by the end of 2023
on YouTube alone.
Yeah. 153 subscribers, So,
and we are getting like people. Well, I mean, it's not like obviously we're not fucking. It's not people we don't know. It's like people we know that are surprising that we don't expect to be listening that come up and say, we listen to your podcast.
Yeah,
they probably listen to like one episode, but mate, it's fucking appreciated all the same.
Yeah, for sure. I mean? Listen to one, listen to all of them. It doesn't.
Yeah. And you get the occasional TikTok knobhead, which, to be honest, it's like that stuff. It's so like it's like pretty much always the same comment.
Oh yeah, and it's also a sign you're doing something right.
Yeah,
because you're essentially getting people all riled up and wanting to leave comments, and you're like, all right, so you have opinion about this.
Sometimes we get bad comments because I've just been lazy about what I've titled it or whatever, and I'm like, fair enough.
Yeah. All right, you've called us out.
I don't like being wrong, but and you're being a dickhead about it, but yeah.
All right, then back to guests though.
Back to guests, yeah. Well, I definitely want to get. I mean, the guy. I mean, we had it scheduled in, and then it got cancelled. But Ryan Walton of Aura Ads, is like my fucking 100% my primary guest objective right now. The man would be so interesting to talk to. I mean, he's interesting to talk to when I see him anyway, but I think he's being very nice, and he would do it for us, but he's just like, it's just not on his priority list at all.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough.
Given the multitude of the companies trying to run.
Multi-million companies, like fucking all right. You don't want to come on our pod with 150 listeners. It's all right.
I get it.
Fair enough.
Who's the other one? Oh, I guess Ben Hughes. Music is another one.
Music, yeah, that's true. He's had his album now, so we'll have to wait till he's releasing another single or something and then get him on.
Yeah,
I'd love to talk to him about his creative process, because mine's very mechanical and like logical, and
like step by step type thing.
Yeah. Like I follow a process mostly, and from there, occasionally I'll delve out into the worlds, but I'm curious to see where that balance is for him as well, because there is a science to making music. I wonder to what degree he follows that science and to what degree he just fucking free flows it. When you go full free flow, it's normally ass. So I'm sensing that he's got some kind of structure.
There must be something, yeah.
But I'd love to know what that structure is. That would be my main questions for him. Who else?
There's a couple of other people climbing related that I could probably reach out to and get on.
Yeah. I've been meaning to reach out to Adam Holland as well. He's like a ultra-marathon runner.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
That guy's fucking insane. He's like one of the most underrated athletes in the UK. And he's just recently moved back to the area as well. So
prime time.
My parents were speaking to him. They had dinner with him the other day, so I'm hoping that he can come on. But he was like, apparently they asked him, they were like, my son has a podcast, I think they're interested in getting you on. He was like, why haven't they fucking messaged me then? I was like, fair enough. It's a good point, actually.
Yeah, why do we not just message people?
I'll be honest, Adam, I haven't fucking thought about it. It's just
slipped my mind. Apologies, mate.
So I'll have to justify my behaviour to him when he comes on.
Yeah, that weasel behaviour we'll have to justify.
Yeah, so those are 3. I mean, I think maybe not, well, we're on like episode 26 now, isn't it? This is 26.
Yeah.
I think maybe if we aim for like one roughly every 10, That's a good, achievable figure.
Yeah.
And it just leaves it so that there's people that... I mean, we haven't had anybody on that we haven't wanted on. Let me make that very, very clear.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we condensed them all in. Like, we had maximum energy going in at the start. So we, like, invited all these people on. And then, like, now we've spoken to all the people we've wanted to speak to.
Yeah, what we should have done was probably, again, in hindsight, is probably, like you say, like spread them out between our episodes. So it's almost like we should have gotten to this point and we've still got like a couple of guests in the bank sort of thing. But
yeah, I think so too. But yeah, we were more ambitious about what
we were going to be able to do in the time.
And to be fair, when the guest episodes started being like, oh, let's drive to fucking Liverpool.
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
was
now
a
we're
beast.
in wild, right? Well worth it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
We just paced it like
bit too quick.
Condensed it all in,
a bit
we're
too
doing
quick.
like 3 episodes and then 1 of ours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I much prefer just us doing ours from a general day-to-day standpoint. Like, going forward, if we wanted to have more guests on, we'd have to start being risky with like, do we really think this can make a good episode?
Yeah.
There's a couple of people here and there that I've forgotten about in this particular podcast, but yeah, so there's a couple of people that we want to speak to, but we're not in a rush to speak to them because time will continue to pass. And each episode is only a week. You know, it's a week, so it's quite a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, 4 episodes is an entire fucking month. It'd be February, and everyone would be like, oh my God, it's February already, I can't believe it, oh my God. And then it'll be like fucking, they'll do that thing there, and then like July will come along and be like, we're halfway through the year already, oh my God, oh, fucking all the rest of it. So
Time moves very quickly.
time is a rapido beast.
It waits for no man.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. What are you going to do this year if you fuck your goals up? What's contingency plan?
Make new ones.
Make new ones?
Yeah.
If you fail your goals, you're just going to throw them out. Just go for a new one. That's an interesting strategy.
What do you mean? As in, if I fail them over this entire year? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean like if you're like one of your goals was to stay in a routine more.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happens when day 6?
Yeah.
You fail.
Well, I get back on a horse, don't I? Try and get back into the routine.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. I reckon.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen at some point. You can't say that it's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Actually, mate. Yeah.
But there's going to be one day where I might, like, I'll have a streak of like however long, and there's going to be fucking inevitably something will come up. And
what is your routine going to be? Up at 6.
I mean,
I might start getting up at 5 because then I get an extra hour.
It's all the stuff I've said I was going to do that I just like haven't kept on the fucking horse with. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it just needs doing.
Yeah. Are you going to get up at 6?
Needs doing.
Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I feel like I need that extra one, then I'll get up at 5.
Yeah.
But I feel like getting up at 5 is a bit of a beast because it then means, well, it depends on how much you care about sleep, right? But it does mean you have to then push your sleep. Like I'd have to go to sleep at 9.
There's actually no reason you couldn't do, like, you would take the same approach that I have in the sense of when you're going to bed early. Like, your only difficult night would be jiu-jitsu night. Because realistically, you come back like 6, 7, maybe 8, right? You get some scran in, you go to bed for 9.
Depends on whether I've trained after work, though. That's the other thing.
You could train before work if you get up earlier, though.
That is true.
And then you wouldn't feel like, well, yeah, you could just do that. I was going to say, I was trying to justify that it would be easier to do your job when you've trained, but I just don't know how I can
I don't think that's the case.
But it would make you better it would self-improve you, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
that old fucking phrase.
Yeah,
old chestnut.
Imagine if you could do your job without any strength. You just fucking, you're at your weakest and you can still do your job. Like,
I mean, there's no real need for me, like you say, there is a possibility that I can train earlier. I think it's one of those things where it's like, okay, in those hours, what do I need to fit in? What's the most important thing for me to do?
it's not like you got to worry about what your missus is doing because she's on fucking nights and all sorts. She didn't give a fuck about your sleeping pattern.
No.
She just doesn't care.
Yeah, no.
How could she? She starts moaning at you about your sleep pattern, mate. You fucking tell her, oi, what are these nights all about then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Leverage.
Fair play to her. I couldn't do that shit. Fucking
Nah, fucking I'd hate it.
Yeah.
Fucking savage.
But yeah, no, I think I've got an idea of what I want to get back on top of and things that need doing.
Why has the routine thing failed for you in the past? What's the thing? There's got to be something, or maybe it's a couple of things. Like when you've been getting up at 6, inevitably at some point you haven't. What is it? And it can sound weaselly for a minute.
I think it's just a comfort thing. It's literally just a case of like, I'm a little bit tired. I'll have a little bit of extra time sleeping in, and then you sleep in. Yeah,
is that simple?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think it's anything. It's just very easy to fall into the weasel mode of just being comfortable and just
maybe. But also, I do that, but I just go to bed so early that it doesn't matter.
I think you have the ability to just get up and crack on with shit. I think that's the other thing.
Oh, I don't know if that's true.
I think it is. I think more than you give yourself credit for.
Really?
I think so. Yeah. You have this weird ability to just get on with it, and just like, even like you've had it before where you've gone to bed at like fucking like 11, 12, and then you've still got up at 4. I've still seen you down here. You've still been on the computer.
Yeah.
I think the thing for you that's very different to me is your job. And your job is all on you. Yeah. That is a big thing. And I think that's a really important... If you don't do... We've talked about this before. If you don't do the work, your business goes nowhere. If I don't do my work, I get told off, but the business still runs. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think that's a huge difference. And I think when you're in a mindset of like, this is my own thing, and if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. And therefore, I'm in the shit. For me, there's always that thing in the back of my mind where I'm like, you're fine, mate. Like, you're going to get paid either way. So you can afford to take a day off. You know? That is the classic salary trap. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and go, right, bin my job in. Let's go and do, go full-time into something else, because I would be an idiot to do that. Yeah. In my current stage, you know?
It's worth sticking in the same kind of career area if you can, unless you're really miserable in your career area, which you are certainly not.
No, by no stretch of imagination. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
There's no logical reason for a career change, unless you're either jumping into a career for the first time, in which case you don't want to be like a shop assistant forever. Yeah. Because there's not really a career path there. I mean, you might. It depends. Like, there wasn't in my shop assistant job. In some others, you might get manager, and then you might get another. But like, it's a bit of a scrap. Like, yeah. I suppose you'd have to be constantly in the employment game. I think this is what we see now, and it's less about staying in the same company and climbing the career ladder. It's about like, right, what other companies are about where my skills are also valuable, and then moving around.
Yeah, and also putting those skills into practice, into a place where that camera's gone.
I forgot this time.
Fuck's sake.
I actually forgot.
You forgot to change it.
Fucking scenes here.
Jesus. It's not starting 2024 off in a good way, is it?
We've still got
if we're still doing this shit.
Fucking camera batteries. We'll flash back to this when we're like millionaires.
Yeah.
We're like, remember when we had that camera that shut off in 5 fucking minutes?
And now we've got amazing cameras.
I'd just like to point out that this is my professional equipment that I use for my business, and the reason that camera shuts off is because I forget to change the battery. Not because it's a shit camera. It would never happen in the field. No. It's just because we don't have anyone here looking at these cameras. It's just me. Yeah.
I think the key, like the big thing is having whatever your skill set is that you're good at, is putting it into a job that you enjoy. Yeah. The last thing you want to be doing is being like really great at a skill or a skill set in a job that you're like, oh, fucking hell. I've got to get up out of bed and I've got to go to work. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's not a choice everyone can make, but
certainly not. And sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do in order to bring the cheddar home.
It's also suspicious though that a lot of people do manage to find a way. Like, I think also a lot of people find. I think this is completely okay as well. They take a job that they initially don't like, but then when they get good at it, they do enjoy it. Yeah. Or they find a way to enjoy it. Like, I actually, to be honest with you, I loved being a shop assistant. Like, I knew there was no career in it. I knew that it was not worth the sacrifice of being paid minimum wage for the rest of my fucking life. Like, it wasn't worth that. So I had to leave it. Yeah. But while I was there, I enjoyed it. And you know what? I enjoyed the small town gossip and the fucking coming in and hearing the workplace drama. And like a lot of it was toxic, and a lot of it you've got to be careful of enjoying too much. But to be honest with you, it was fun. Yeah.
I think as long as you can see, again, I think it's just about seeing the positives in things, right? It's like, it's taking the small enjoyments out of it, rather than being like, oh, the entire thing's shit. Yeah. It's kind of like we said the other day when people go like, and they write a day off because they've like, I don't know, something's gone wrong in the morning and they're like, oh, well, that's it, the whole day's shit. And it's like, it's not though, is it? Like if something, like one thing was to happen at work, and they're like, oh, I hate my job, it's shit. It's like, hold on, well, just slow down a second. Is it really that shit, or did one thing just happen that made your day a bit crap?
Yeah.
You know?
I think that, I've said it loads of times, it's becoming a bit of a motto of mine. I really hope I haven't stole it from anyone, but where the mind goes, the body follows. So if you are, a lot of people are stuck in a very, very negative mindset where everything is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
That they're in a shit state of affairs and everything sucks. And for as long as you think like that, it's going to be the case. And it sounds woo-woo and fucking bollocks to just say, well, just think everything will be better. It's like, you're not, look, okay, thinking things are going to be okay isn't going to kill your cancer. Okay, it's not going to make cancer go away. But we don't actually know that it won't, by the way. Like, there could be developing science there that like Wim Hof was doing some stuff around that was kind of interesting. But yeah, agreed. Let's not fucking assume that that's
No.
Okay, but it will make your last few months on Earth better.
Yeah.
If you can find some reason to enjoy those months rather than find some reason to hate those months. And
yeah, and we're not saying it's easy. It's not an easy thing to do by any stretch of the imagination.
It's a really fucking risky example for me to take because I have never had cancer.
Yeah.
Really, so it's completely out of my fucking expertise. But using that as an extreme example, like in the workplace, if you go in and you're the moody dickhead, then people are just going to treat you like the moody dickhead. And you're then going to have a reason to be moody. Like you're going to self-justify it.
Yeah.
If you find a reason why things are good, which is. It's not easy, it's not straightforward. None of us are like fucking good at this stuff.
No.
Fuck it up.
Yeah.
But if you can find a way to, even if it is just a case of saying, you know what, today's gonna be alright. The chances of that day actually being alright have vastly improved. And why would you not take those odds? Like you could be wrong. You could fuck it up. You could say today's gonna be really good, and it turns out to be a load of shit. But why would you give yourself the discipline? Why would you make it a certainty?
Yeah, literally.
Like, you can definitely think yourself into sadness.
Yep.
So why can't you think yourself into happiness? Why not?
Yep, agreed.
And I think that's the biggest thing that people can do in the world. Once they've taken care of their own shit, it is important to do that. Like, imagine if all the negative people out there, you could just give them the ability to believe that things could be better. Because a lot of people don't right now. Like, imagine if you could. I don't know how you would. But imagine if you could.
I don't think you can give it to everyone because that's obviously fucking hell. That's a pretty big challenge. But I think in your local area and who you are surrounded by, I think you can. Well, we've talked about it before. You can be that positive source.
I think that's why people like Jordan Peterson are so revered by their fan group. Obviously, they've been fucking mischaracterized and fucking ripped apart for political reasons or whatever. But the people who come to his shows, who see him, are often moved to tears at just the mere sight of him, because he gave them the belief that things could be better. And a lot of it he did through harshness and truth, and like, yeah, guess what, you're actually not perfect, which I greatly respect.
Yeah.
But now they believe that the situation that they're in could be different. And that's all it needs to be. Like, it doesn't have to be changed. It's not going to be changed overnight.
No.
You're not going to fucking wake up tomorrow and, your 50 grand of debt is going to have disappeared, and fucking your house isn't going to be falling apart anymore, and your landlord isn't going to be knocking at your door. Like, all of those things are still going to happen. But if you can just change one of those things, maybe we can start maybe this can be the bottom. And maybe now we can rise.
Yeah. Small wins on the way to the big goal. That's the key. Just find those small wins, Yeah.
And I think this could be the year. Well, it is guaranteed to be the year for a lot of people where everything turns around. One way or another. It could get worse.
It could get worse. It could get better.
This time next year, I could be a defeated man.
Yeah.
But I think it's unlikely for the simple reason that I believe. Anyhow.
Oh, a lovely little segue.
Oh, a lovely little segment. Well, what was
segment, not segue.
No segue to do this.
No.
Last week you said the worst habit that you had was weasel behaviour.
Yeah.
We touched a bit of it again today.
Yeah.
What's the worst habit besides that? Because we always default to weasel behaviour.
Yeah.
And I always say...
I mean, it's a bit of an umbrella term, isn't it? Weasel behaviour.
We kind of knew what we were going to say before we even said it. Like, you knew I was going to say I'm too harsh.
Yeah.
Spoke to you about it before.
Yeah.
And you were going to say weasel behaviour because we spoke about it before.
Yeah.
It's like, those are the classics that we go to. What is the worst habit besides that? let's try and come up with something new, unless there is something that you already know about. Now, is that silence because you don't have anything, or you don't know how to explain what it is?
Probably the latter.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, I think for me, it's a bit of like, I guess, I don't want to say my spending habits, right?
Yeah.
But to some degree, there is a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But in one area, which is like vehicles, I guess, for the minute, yeah. Because actually, like in terms of what I spend, I don't spend money on clothes. I don't spend money on like technology stuff. I don't really do that. My money is currently tied up in, and again over this year because I've like gone through stuff. And it's always that classic thing of like, oh, I wonder if that's for me. And that's what happened with me with the van, because I was like, oh, I've seen all these things with vans and like living in a van or like living out of a van, and oh, that looks really good. I want to have a piece of that. Let's try that. And then obviously you try it, and it's one of those things where you don't really know until you try. So then I tried it, but then that's cost me X amount of money. So now I'm in the position I'm in when it's like, oh, actually it's not really for me. So now I want to get rid of it. Yeah, so I guess that's one of the things that I want to just try and improve on, is just sort of spending it. I think you said it to me once. It's just like spending it on things that are going to make you money, rather than stuff that's just going to sit there and not really give you anything back.
That's true. I mean, I don't think what you've done is wrong. I mean, first of all, we've established today that actually you're not a knobhead with buying cars.
No.
You've had a bad run of luck, and it is. Like, if it is bad luck, then it is bad luck. If there is something that you can come up with where you go, that's why, like, I made a risky purchase. Like, there will be something.
Oh, it's 100% part of that. The risky purchase was the van in many ways.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't.
There'll be a reason why. There will be a reason somewhere if you can be asked.
Yeah.
It might just be such an anomaly that you just go, you know what, fuck it, forget about it.
Well, I think maybe with the car, I maybe jumped on it a bit too early because I did not like the van to drive.
Yeah,
and that opportunity came up. I probably jumped on it a bit too early when I maybe shouldn't have done, given the funds that I had.
And I feel like you really wanted a Civic again.
Yeah, I just wanted a fun car to drive again, and that was the one that came up. It just so happened that my mate was selling it and it was cheap and all of that sort of stuff, so I jumped on it when I probably should have just been like, right, let's just have a bit of patience.
Yeah.
Have the van for a bit, hold out with the van, and then once you've built up a bit more, then go and get something, you know.
Maybe, yeah.
That's probably what So for me, I think the habit is just sort of like, just, and again, not spending money, but spending it on things that are going to benefit you essentially, and, you know, benefit those around you basically, I guess is the thing.
But definitely, I don't think that spending money on experiences is a bad thing. And spending money to figure stuff out is a bad thing either. I don't think that's at all. Just checking the time here because my time is off.
Yeah.
But I think that the big risk that you have is that you're doing it, maybe you're putting a cart before a horse a little bit, where you don't have more than one revenue stream.
Correct,
and
yeah.
You don't really have a backup.
No.
Like if climbing doesn't work out, right, like if this business, for whatever reason, you lose your job, for whatever reason, we've met Jen. He's fucking geese.
Yeah,
He's going to be all right.
Yeah.
But let's say the impossible happens and suddenly you're out of money. Like your savings have been fucking kicked in the ass.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're actually in quite a vulnerable position.
Mm-hmm.
The job is secure, but overall, like if the impossible happens, you're then like in a pretty big panic. Like you're going back to climbing coaching, aren't you?
Yeah.
On the side.
Yeah.
So definitely, I think that figuring out another revenue stream, but you know, you're doing stuff. I mean, like it's just even if it's like skills with stuff that'd be useful. Like even if this year you just learned more, like now you're on top of Premiere Pro. Like if you just learned more about Premiere Pro and just fucked about with it more throughout the year, you'd have some kind of marketable skill that you could do in a pinch, like editing on the side or whatever. Like you could do something, or the crimp gen stuff that you were working on, like back on the horse with that again because that's gone quiet, innit? It's been Christmas, whatever. Like it is what it is. But yeah, I think that's your main thing. Is just pick up, if not a second income, like more differentiated skill sets.
Yeah.
Could if the shit
hit the fan, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be fully screwed. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
I mean, you can always drive vans, but you don't like vans, so.
I'd rather not. I mean, if I had to for a job, I'd do it for a job. But you know.
You can do that on agency.
Yeah.
So there is always that, but.
All right, then. What about you?
Worst habit.
Any second one that you want to try and improve on?
Fuck, we've got time limit now.
It's got to be quick.
Might have to make this a longer one. I've got a fucking shopping list, mate.
Just one that you think that is like the next one down the list.
The one that I did before was regarding my impact on other people being a negative thing. So I don't really want. I'm going to be a bit more selfish with this one, I think. Because, but also, I'm not willing to change it. I don't want to change it.
Go on then.
So I think I am a little impatient, at least when it comes to things like fitness, or like I'll forego I'll make a risky move in order to make a gain. Like I'll train on an injury, for example, which is at some point going to bite me in the ass. Like at some point I'm going to fucking smash bar and something's just going to snap. And I'm going to be back in the 48 situation where I'm on crutches or whatever. Not on bench, obviously, but like I do play risky games where I think, yeah, I'll get away with it, it'll be alright. And I think that's probably silly in the long term.
Would you say it's therefore maybe the best way to look at it is just to become more calculated with those risks? Rather than be like, oh, I'm just not going to take risks. Because I think taking risks is important and you have to do that in order to improve whatever it is in life.
That's the reason I'm not fucking fussed about changing it, because sometimes you think that you're injured and you're not. Like, if you're a data-driven person and you fucking are always looking at what could happen and trying to predict the future, then of course you're going to see problems. Like, problems are everywhere. And a lot of the time, the least exciting result is the most likely one. You're not going to have some dramatic fucking snap of your shoulder in the middle of a bench press. Like,
but for example, could you then go, okay, I've got this injury, a bit like what you did with your dad, where your dad had the same
shoulder issue.
Yeah, rotator cuff issue, yeah. And you said, right, you're not going to do bench, but you're going to do this, and this instead. Yeah. Is that maybe something that you should pick up instead? Is just like, rather than make the injury worse, take like a couple weeks and maybe just go and, because that's what I've done with when I've had my fingers been a little bit sore and I've had this injury in my finger. It's like, okay, I can't do what I was kind of doing with regards to like the ball climbing and just being stronger on the fingers in general. But what I can do is go and get better at canvassing, get better at a load of other things. So can you then funnel that into other weaknesses that you should be focusing on just because you can't do that one thing?
This is true. This is probably the result.
I think that's probably the best way to look at it.
Is rather than seeing it as me failing a challenge, I should look at it as we've run out of time. You fucker. Well, that won't be right, actually.
Back on.
Yeah, rather than seeing it as I've failed a challenge, I should set injury recovery as, because I know
well, rather than seeing it as failing a challenge, you're like, okay, right, leave that one for a minute, let's just set a new challenge.
Let's just set a challenge of repair.
Yeah. Or just a new challenge that you can go and do whilst your shoulder's healing or whatever it is you've done is healing, you know.
Maybe. I don't like that idea though, mate. Not gonna lie. I think I'll just keep fucking plumbing it on until something fucking falls apart.
Alright, well, you've heard it here first, everyone.
He tried.
When he pushes himself too far and we're now sat on this sofa with him in like 4 casts, we know what's happened.
Well, if I'm in a cast, we will 100% come back to this episode.
Yeah.
That'll be funny as fuck. But you know what's going to happen if I end up in a cast, mate? Is that cast will last for a couple of weeks and then it'll disappear and I'll be back on bar. Just cannot be stopped, mate.
It's just going to be a cycle, innit?
Until 200 gets sent.
It's just going to be a cycle.
It's going to keep fucking going.
Yeah.
Until I either get 200 or I get too aged and frail that I die on bar.
There you go.
That'll be it. Those are the 2 options that I've got.
Well, fair enough. At least you got options.
Well, that's a good content-filled episode. The reason I did restart the cameras though is we've obviously got our segmentos.
Yes.
So the challenge thing we don't have to worry about. We know it's stretching.
That's a month by month thing now.
Yeah, so that's a monthly thing now. But we will just remind people what the challenge for the month is.
Yeah.
I think we should do that. Just to make sure that we haven't completed.
Did we decide how that was? Oh no, so we need to get like a before. So on January the 1st.
Yeah.
Obviously,
honestly, we could do it today. We could do it right now.
We could do it right.
We've got a little bit of time if we have to go. Like 50 minutes.
Yeah. So we could do testing of stretching.
Yeah.
Which obviously we haven't warmed up, so it's going to be a completely cold stretch, which is going to mean that when we do the after, is going to have to be in the same situation.
Whatever you say.
So you couldn't do like a stretch now because you haven't warmed up, and then do a stretch and the after when you've warmed up, because the difference will be like massive. Whereas what you can do is do it we either warm up, do the stretch, and then warm up, do the stretches before and after, or you do it before you've warmed up. And then, that's your before and after, and then we do that for the 30 days, and then come back to it at the end of the month.
I can't wait to see that. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that today. We'll do that right now.
Okay. And obviously that depends upon how often a day you're going to stretch as well. There is that side of things. So whether we set that as a limit, or whether you just do it for the 30 days and do how much you...
The challenge is stretch every day.
Okay, fine.
Whatever you want to do from there for the sake of the results at the end is fucking your business.
Okay. Yeah. As long as you end up with a better result at the end, that's the key, isn't it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sound.
And fuck it. That'll do.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
We've got the AI segment, Midjourney AI. I'm pretty sure I've only done like the first episode of these at this point.
Yeah, we've got like a good 4 or 5 episodes probably worth of AI segments in order to do. So.
We'll do that today. We'll see. I'm gonna go through some episodes today myself. So.
Okay.
Just when you're doing the shorts, when you get the prompt, maybe just write them down in notes and send them to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Rather than us having to now
go back through all the shorts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to do it. So the Midjourney segment, there's an AI software out there called Midjourney that you give it a prompt and it will give you some kind of fucking image result. It will generate an image for you, a bit of artwork, and we do a thing where I start a prompt, he finishes a prompt, or vice versa, and then we see what the image shows us for the YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels.
I'm going to do a theme this week.
Go on then.
I'm going to say the theme is based around something to do with like an office workplace.
Office workplace.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. A man attempts to escape the office by
tying 400 socks into a rope and abseiling out of the office window.
There we go.
Ta-da.
My inspiration for that was Brian Limon's sketch where he wheezes himself together. Just piss yourself.
That's a solid escape tactic.
That's fucking class.
There we go. If you need to get out of the office, just wee yourself.
Just wee yourself.
Yep.
Just have a wee.
Yep. That's our little advice for the week.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorted.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a beautiful podcast episode. A little bit longer as well. We've been
slowly creeping up on the old timings.
Yeah, we were getting our confidence back.
Yeah. Woo.
Nice.
Psyched.
It would just take one TikTok comment to come and ruin it all because we're that fragile.
And it will be back to 20 minutes. Yeah. Max.
20 minutes? Oh my God. Right.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, then, fuck off then.
Yeah.
Fuck off the next episode.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Have
just
a lovely day.
Next. Goodbye. Bye now.
Thank you for listening to the Two Beast podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this podcast on whatever your preferred platform is. We'll see you next time. All the best.